We have a new angle on today's episode of Cut This, Polish That.
So today what we're going to do is we're going to cut a very complex mitered island out of some Thunderstorm porcelain on our SaberJet XP.
Ryan, why don't you tell us what we're getting ourselves into today?
All right, Jesse. Today we have porcelain, we have complex compound mitered angles, and more. We're going to show you this whole process from beginning to end on how this is all going to come together.
And I hope you see why the SaberJet XP is perfect for this task. It's great at mitering, it's got its ultra compact features, and much more.
So this will definitely be a challenge, but it's also going to be a lot of fun.
Ryan, what kind of material are we cutting today?
So today we are proud to have Infinity Surfaces sponsoring us in this episode with their 12mm Thunderstorm porcelain.
So we got a beautiful slab, intricate island, and a top-notch machine all in one video.
And as an added bonus, we're gonna have our friends from Premier Stone Design come and help us put this all together so you can see what this finished project is gonna look like.
I am excited to see this from start to finish.
So Jesse, where should we start?
Let's take the slab over the Pathfinder, get some photos, and go through the process.
All right, let's get to it. So we're back at the Park Studio, and I'm just going to give you a brief rundown on what the layout and programming looks like for the SaberJet XP. Let's get into it. All right, so I'm inside of Slabsmith Perfect Match. So this was the raw DXF file that we brought in. So on this next tab, I have our finished layout that we landed on. On the left side, you have all of our slabs over here. So we chose 4 slabs that were book matched. This made it pretty easy to do the layout. So I'm back inside of AlphaCam. So I'm going to show you one of the 4 programs that we did for this project. This is the island top. As you can see, the miter angles are labeled here on each edge. So we know which angle to cut these at. So we have 2 at 45.5 degrees. One is at 39 degrees. And we have another one over here on the right that is at a 53 degree angle. So on the 53 degree angle, this is where the SaberJet came in very handy for us because it has the ability to cut these angles over 45 degrees using the water jet. Another highlight that was good for this project was utilizing the ultra compact feature. It has the ability to do the automatic ramp in and ramp out for the beginning and end of the cut so you don't have cracked corners or parts blowing out on you. And you also don't have to stand at the machine to babysit it. It's all automatic. You press start and you walk away. So with Auto Toolpath, Ultra Compact, and the miter water jet, this was the perfect solution for this project. Okay, so that was just a brief overview of what the layout and programming looks like. Let's go to the SaberJet and we'll start cutting.
Well, here we are again back at the SaberJet XP. We got our first slab of Thunderstorm porcelain loaded onto the table. Are we ready to start cutting, Brian?
We're ready to start. So we're gonna scan in the very first job using our barcode scanner. And then all we have to do now is press cycle start.
That is awesome. Are we gonna rip through all those right now?
We sure are. So let's put the SaberJet XP to work.
The SaberJet XP is off and cutting. We're going to show you all 4 slabs cut today. We're going to speed this up for your viewing pleasure. This will give you a great idea of how easy it was to cut on the SaberJet XP. We're just going to show you real quick on this first slab that we're cutting the tension band off. We do this on all 4 slabs. It takes roughly about 11 minutes per the manufacturer's guidelines to help relieve any tension within the slab. Tension band's all cut. Now we're off to finish cutting the rest of our parts out. Right now it's just measuring the thickness of the slab. It's coming in and it's doing a miter. I believe right now it is at about 10.5 degrees, which also add that we added a a 1 degree onto all of our miters to leave room for any of the epoxy or the glue. Right here it's doing one of our very few straight cuts. Right here is about a standard 45.5 degree miter. All our blade work is done on the slab. We're going to switch over to the water jet, and pay attention because you're going to see a lot of miter work done with the water jet, and this is a great feature. It allows us to do a lot of intricate cutting and a lot more aggressive miter work as well that the blade can't do. We're finished with the water jet now, and we programmed a couple cuts in there with the blade just to free up the pieces so we can get them off the table. And then off to slab number 2. Brian's going to come in and give it a quick rinse down. Parts came out excellent. We're on the second slab, and it's going to be cutting out a total of 5 parts, and these pieces make up the ends of the island. Just like you're seeing, most of the cuts you're seeing on this slab are all miters, exceptions for the toe kick on there. As you can see with the Saberjet XP's 27 horsepower industry leader, we can cut these fragile materials like porcelain or the dense quartzites materials. We're back onto the water jet, finishing up some of our miter jet cuts to free up the pieces, and then we'll be on to our third slab. Without the miter jet function on the Saberjet XP, even if you had a CNC saw, you would still have to come back and clean up all these cuts by hand. This feature saves shops hours of labor that you would have to be doing by hand. We're about 35 minutes in on this slab. We're doing the last cuts just to free up some of these pieces on the slab. Everything's turning out perfect. Flawless so far. We're in slab 3 now. We have a combination of 5 parts, and 3 of these are going to be those triangles, and this is going to be the front of the island you'll be seeing on the finished product. For this cut, you're going to notice the blade barely positions into a miter of 9.5 degrees, and this is an overcut versus an undercut because it's our inverted angle, and there's only 2 of these cuts on the entire build that we're doing. We have 5 parts and 17 cuts, and 13 of those cuts were miters, so slab number 3 was our longest running program. 2 of the great features that the Saberjet XP has are load control and ultra compact automation. These allow the operator to walk away once the program's loaded and running. The ultra compact will ramp in and ramp out of a cut. You may notice right in this corner that's transitioning from a blade miter cut, and that's taking over from the water jet miter cut. And the transition between these 2 cuts it's almost unnoticeable. We're at about 45 minutes, and slab number 3 is just about finished. It's just doing a couple of relief cuts, and we're going to remove the parts. And once again, nice sharp miters. Ooh, Brian's got those gloves on. Better be careful. On to slab number 4 now. We're cutting a very important piece, which is the top of our island. This one's got to be perfect for all the other pieces to meet up to. We got 4 miters on this piece. 3 of them we cut with the blade, and the last one on the right is going to be cut with the water jet. That miter jet's angle is 53 degrees on this one. We're approaching 18 minutes on the slab, and we're just going to do 4 more relief cuts, get this piece out of there and start assembly. And just like that, we have 4 slabs of porcelain cut and ready to be glued up. Let's check in with Premier Stone Design, our friends from down the road who will be putting this together.
So it's time to take this project next step. So we have Sam joining us today with Premier Stone Design. Sam, what are your thoughts on this big project we're doing?
It's definitely a little intimidating with the compound miters, probably one of the most unique projects I've ever been a part of. But between the blue material and all the intricate angles going into this, I'm really excited for the opportunity.
Good. So with that, should we get going on this?
I'm excited. Let's get to it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, you can see the guys bringing the top in, setting it in place, getting the glue ready. They got the adhesive onto the island now, and they're getting the first piece set into place, taping it, making sure that doesn't move at all. You can see them putting on the blue epoxy to get that seam nice and tight. Now you can slowly see this thunderstorm island come to life. As they're putting the final pieces on, you can see that they're just polishing up those edges to smooth them out, and then we'll head back in to see the final results.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, and now the moment we've all been waiting for.
All right, Jesse, I'm really excited. Let's take a look at this fabulous island. And as I was walking around this island, I saw miter joints everywhere. How many miter joints are on this thing?
There's a lot. There's 18 miters on here.
That is a ton of miters. One thing I appreciate the most about this is how well all of this movement just kind of flows together and wraps around. How could you even do something like this without Slabsmith and Perfect Match?
It wouldn't be impossible, but Slabsmith was a lifesaver and made it very easy.
So when you pair that with the SaberJet XP, how did the SaberJet XP help us out with this project?
Any miter that we had thrown at it, cut it, very clean cuts, perfect precision miters. Just load the program, hit start, and watch it cut.
Now you can see why the SaberJet XP is the cemented industry leader saw jet for any project complicated like this. So if you liked what you saw here today on the SaberJet XP, check it out on our website. Or better yet, you can come to Park, we'll fly you here for free, you can come see it in person. Jesse or myself will be glad to give you a demo on this machine.
And once again, we'd like to thank Infinity Surfaces for sponsoring today's video with their beautiful thunderstorm slabs.
All right, so that concludes today's episode of Cut This, Polish That. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome back. You were talking again.
Did you record that?
Yeah.
Great.
Good morning, Brian.
Did you bring donuts?